Hello, my fabulous algebra students. Today we're going to work on Algebra 1, Lesson 1, which is translating English into algebra, algebra back into English, evaluating expressions, and using that information to solve some real-world problems. I think the one that I have in mind has to do with a cell phone plan. So we're going to work on that today. Thank you ahead of time for all your attention and hard work. Let's get to it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this is our learning target for the day. So on the front page of your notes, I would like for you to make sure you get the learning target written down so we have a target of what we're working towards today. I can translate English into algebra. I can translate algebra into English. I can follow the order of operations to evaluate expressions, and I can write and evaluate expressions to solve real-world problems. So as you work through the lesson today, hopefully you see yourself working towards this learning target or this goal. I'm going to ask you to pause the video until you are finished copying down the learning targets. Okay, now that you have the learning target copied down, if you look underneath, you have 4 boxes. I'm going to ask you to label those boxes, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And what you're going to do is come up with as many English words as you can think of that tell you to do those things. So for example, in the add box, I would put sum, because sum is an English word that when I read it in a word problem, that tells me that I need to add. One of the words I'm going to put in the subtract box as an example will be difference. If I take the difference between 2 numbers, I'm subtracting them. An example in the multiply box is going to be product. An example in the divide box is going to be quotient. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come up with as many words as you can to fill in that box. Okay, so we did have some issues with the timer, but you still should have had enough time to fill in words. So share with the people around you. I want the class to kind of share together. And if you're missing words that your classmates have, I want you to fill those in. If they have words or you have words that they don't have, I'm going to ask you to share those so they can fill those in. Also on the back of this page, after you've done that, there's some other, there's additional words. So some, more, increased, So go ahead and read through those and add any words to your boxes that you don't have. Okay, I'm going to ask you to pause if you're still writing and you need some time to fill those things in. Okay, so now your brain is thinking about English words that represent algebra expressions. So we're going to translate some of these problems into algebraic expressions. So Jared can type 35 words per minute. Write an expression for the number of words that he can type in m minutes. So I'm going to look for keywords here. Per minute is going to give me a clue that I am multiplying. So I'm going to say 35 words per minute, and we're using m to represent the minutes. So I could put times m. I don't have to put the dot. It could also look just like 35m, or you could put those in parentheses, because parentheses next to each other also mean multiply. Okay? Number 2, Mr. O'Brien's commute to work is half an hour, 0.5 hour, less than Miss Santos' commute. Write an expression for the length of Mr. Bryan's commute if Miss Santos' commute is h hours. So if hers is h hours, okay, if his is less than, that's telling us to minus 0.5 hours. So we could use that information to solve for that if we had just a little bit more information. Number 3, Mrs. Knighton bought a box of C cookies and split them evenly between the 25 students in her classroom. What a nice teacher. Write an expression for the number of cookies each student received. Okay, so this one's a little bit trickier because there's not one word, but we know by reading this problem that she's dividing 25 cookies among her class, or these cookies among this many students. So I'm going to have C divided by 25, or it could look maybe like a fraction, C divided by 25, something like that. Okay. Number 4, Enrique collected 152 recyclable bottles, and Latasha collected B recyclable bottles. Write an expression for the number of bottles they collected all together. So think in your head, what does all together tell us? All together tells us to add. So I have 152 plus B. Okay, and the last one on this page. Tammy's current rent is R dollars. Next month, it will be reduced by $50. Write an expression for next month's rent in dollars. Reduced, if I'm not sure, does it mean add, subtract, multiply, or divide? I can look at my notes, but reduced means minus. So her rent cost R dollars, and next month it's going to cost $50 less. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the page. Okay. For these problems, it says give 2 ways to write each algebraic expression in words. And I'm only going to do a couple of these because I'm going to want you to solve these on your own, at least some of them. So number 6 and 7 did not show up in my picture, so I'm going to do number 8. 8 says x plus 9. So if I wanted to express that in words, I could write the sum of x and 9, okay, or I could write adding 9 to x, okay, or x increased by 9, okay, those are things that I could do. I'm going to do part of number 11. Remember, you have to do 2 sentences for each one of these, so I'm only going to do a couple as examples. The 4 and the y here are multiplied together, so you could say the product of 4 and y, or you could say times 4 times y. Okay. Let's get down to number 14. Evaluate each expression for r equals 8, s equals 2, and t equals 5. So we're going to take these numbers and substitute into the expressions. So number 14, the s and t are right next to each other. So that means multiply. So I'm going to substitute and then follow the order of operations. So I have 2 times 5. So if I evaluate that, I get 10. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and substitute those in and solve. Okay? I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do the problems that we haven't done together yet on your own. Okay? You may help each other and you may ask for help, but I'd really like for you to work as much as you can on your own. Make sure where you're at in our learning target and what you can do. The last page is the Compare Cell Phones Plans Challenge, and I will work that with you. So I would like for you to complete everything except for the last page, and we'll work the last page together. Okay guys, so hopefully that learning target makes perfect sense to you. You can translate between English and algebra. You can translate between algebra and English. You can substitute and follow the order of operations to solve for an expression, and you can write and evaluate an expression and solve a real world problem because you understand all these things. If there's any issues with any of those things, please get some help because that's a learning target that we need as we move forward. Okay, good job. Thanks. Bye.